Irish National Stud located in County Kildare dates back over 100 years and is steeped in history. John, it's an amazing property.
Yeah, it's been a horse farm since 1905 or thereabouts, and it got off to a great start. Like, from the very beginning, Colonel William Hall Walker bred classic winners here, you know, and we've trying to keep up that tradition.
Well, it's not just for horse lovers either.
No, it's one of our biggest tourist attractions in Ireland. We'll be in the top 50 visitor attractions in the whole country. It's a unique experience. People get up close and personal with the horses. They get a touch of history. We've got a lot of heritage buildings on the property. We've got some of the best gardens in the country, including the famous Japanese garden and the St. Fiacre's garden, which is behind us. And it's just a beautiful sense of peace and quiet.
As you said, tourism is very important. We've seen a lot of tourists here today from all over the world, from Uruguay, China. They come from everywhere.
Yeah, we've had a very busy day and a very busy season, thankfully. Yeah, they come from all over the world, and it's one of the first ports of call for a lot of our visitors. Most recently, one of our leading visitors was Her Majesty the Queen, so it's on a lot of lists.
It's a lot more to this stuff than just horses and gardens with your student facility as well.
Yeah, since 1970 we've been holding a stud management course. It's a residential, practical, hands-on course for 6 months. We get students from all over the world. We calculated last year we've had students from 25 different countries here over the 40 years. This year we've got students from 11 countries. We've got a couple from Australia, one from New Zealand, one from Japan, one from Korea. We've got a couple of North Americans, Canada, Germany, Norway, France. They're all here.
We've been lucky today to get up close and personal with a few of your stallions. You've got 7 standing here.
Yeah, stallions are the biggest part of what we do. They represent most of our income, and without them we'd be lost. But I mean, it's a high-risk business. We're lucky at the moment to have one of the top 10 stallions in Europe in Invincible Spirit. Sire of Grade 1 winner Yossi, he won the Australian Guineas last year. He's a sire of 5 Group 1 winners over different distances and in 4 different countries. He's a bit of a sensation.
We saw Invincible Spirit in the flesh. He's quite an imposing sort of individual, and we also saw some of his foals in the paddock, and they look to be lovely types.
Yeah, he's a real sprinter. He was a very fast 2-year-old. He won a Group 1 over 6 furlongs. He's all speed, and his stock likewise. Although he's sired a classic winner as well. He sired Lawman, who won a French Derby. You know, so he's a versatile kind of a horse. But you know, his stock tend to be powerhouses.
Art Connoisseur was another one of the stallions we saw. He's reasonably new to the roster here.
Yeah, well, you see a pattern there too. I mean, Art Connoisseur was a leading sprinter. He was a top 2-year-old. He was very precocious. He'd won twice in April, and then he won in Royal Ascot as a 2-year-old in June. He came back to Royal Ascot as a 3-year-old, and he beat the older sprinters, including some big names from down under. And that sort of horse has always been popular with the Irish breeders who like speed particularly, you know.
Was taken back by the temperament of Amadeus Wolf in the paddock. He seems to be a very laid-back type of character.
Yeah, he sure is. Lovely horse, again, sprinter. Good 2-year-old, Group 1 winner as a 2-year-old over 6 furlongs. Again, you can see the pattern. This is what the Irish breeders like, and this is what the trainers like, you know. Nobody has time to wait for the slow horses. It's all about speed, and we've got plenty of it here. Amadeus Wolf has been down to Victoria last season, and he goes back down to Chatswood Stud this year. We're looking to, you know, great success with that particular partnership.
The newest addition to the roster is the freshman Lord Chanicle.
Yeah, Lord Shanakill comes from the great Gone West sire line. He's the son of Speightstown. He was the first son of Speightstown to make his way to stud. He's the first Group 1 winner by Speightstown, who was himself a Breeders' Cup sprint winner. Lord Shanakill was a Group 1 winner over a mile in France. He's been very popular with breeders. He's a very stylish looking horse and from a very good family. He's from the family of Albahatri, which was famous in your part of the world as well for producing Talak and Shikhamda, one of the great families. Lots of stallions come through that family as well, you know.
And the property's also become home to some of the great horses of the past and the Melbourne Cup winner Vintage Crop.
Yeah, he's still here. He's looking a bit, you know, he's 24 now, and he's starting to show his age a little bit maybe, but he's been a great servant to everybody and very, very popular. You know, we get thousands of visitors from Australia every year, and it's the first question you ask: is Vintage Crop still here? How is he? Want to see him? And he, you know, he's on the main avenue, and you know, we're delighted to have him. We had him here parading for the Queen as well. We put on his Foster's rug, and he looked the part, you know.
And there's been some incredibly talented horses come off the property, but probably none more famous than See the Stars.
Yeah, well, he's the feather in the cap of recent achievements. Funny, he emulated a horse from 1909 called Minoru, who won the same 2,000 guineas, the same Epsom Derby in the colours of King Edward VII. And exactly 100 years later, another horse bred and raised at Tully goes and does the same again, become a world champion. He's now standing not too far from us here. We wish him well.
And John, judging by the quality of the property and the bloodstock being produced, one can only wonder there's not too far away before we see another horse of the ilk of See the Stars coming off the property.
They don't come around that often, but we're looking forward to the next one. It's always about the next one, isn't it?